It looks like we have enough people here to have a quorum. So we can get this meeting started. It is Wednesday, April the 15th at 5:31. We'll call this meeting to order. Begin with a roll call.
Councilman Gorman? Present. Councilman Heyman?
Present.
Councilman Blades?
Present.
3 present, we have a quorum.
Now, we have a separate agenda for the closed session, so I want to make sure that I follow that to a T. So just one moment, please. Given the closed session agenda as it's listed, do we have any issues with it?
None.
Mr. Gorman?
Public comment?
Do you have any issues with the closed agenda? Okay. Can I ask for public comment, please? And I don't see anybody in attendance, but if anyone's on the phone, please do call in. We'll give you a moment or two. Hearing none, seeing none, can I ask for an approval of the agenda?
Motion to approve.
We're just approving the.
Just approving the closed session agenda?
Okay, I move to approve.
Okay, right on.
Second.
Approval in a second, okay.
So we will,
Councilman Gorman?
Aye.
Councilman Heyman?
Aye.
Councilman Blades?
Aye.
3 ayes, motion carries.
we will now move into closed session and come back out as soon as we can. Thank you. We'll resume our closed session agenda with an attorney report out of closed session.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, council members. 2 items were taken up by the council in closed session. Only one reportable action was taken, that is in the matter of Enriquez versus Sierra Sands Unified School District and City of Ridgecrest. The City of Ridgecrest will be obtaining a dismissal out of that action. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So we'll now adjourn the closed session and open up the open session. I don't think we probably need to go through, we don't need to call to order, go through roll call, but we do need to have an approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Before we move forward, Honorable Mayor and council members, staff would request that item number 7 be moved to prior to the consent calendar. Number 7 is the hearing, revocation hearing. We will have Keith Lemieux, my partner, zooming in for that matter to be advising the city council on it. I will be representing a staff in the request for revocation. And we also have the attorney for the store owner here. So we would like the council to move that item up to the beginning of the agenda, so right before.
Like, right before the consent calendar?
Right before consent.
Okay.
Before it gets set.
You guys okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. I would ask for an approval of the agenda with changes.
Motion to approve the agenda with the changes as mentioned.
Second.
Okay, do we need any public comment on the agenda? No, I suppose not. Okay. Heather, over to you. We'll do a roll call.
Councilman Gorman?
Aye.
Councilman Heyman?
Aye.
Councilman Rajaratnam? Or, no, sorry, Councilman Blades?
Aye.
3 ayes, motion carries.
Sounds good. Okay, we have an approved agenda. We're on to the regular session. Would everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation? Chief, would you please lead us?
Ready to begin.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In Mr. Roger Rossman's absence, I will just say a few words. Please, let's have peace tonight. I ask, Lord, that you're with each and every one of us, and then we can all feel your presence, and that we do your will. Amen.
Amen.
We are now on to council presentations, so both 1 and 2. We would probably just head down to the podium. Volunteer Appreciation Week proclamation. Heather, do you have a proclamation? Okay, I do not have a proclamation. I don't have a copy. Okay, well, that'll be interesting. Maybe it's in the package. It's okay. I will find it. Perfect. City manager doing city manager stuff. That's a first.
Your voice is on duty, mine's a little.
Okay. Fair. So it is my honor and privilege to give the proclamation from the City of Ridgecrest honoring Volunteer Appreciation Week, April 19th through the 25th. Whereas National Volunteer Week is designated as a week to recognize the importance of volunteering and honoring the significant contributions that volunteers make by generously donating their time and talents to the city. And whereas Volunteer Week is an opportunity to recognize and thank volunteers who lend their time, talent, voice, and resources to meet the critical needs of our community. And whereas the Ridgecrest Police Department has an outstanding group of volunteers who give willingly of their time to meet the needs of our department and citizens of Ridgecrest. Whereas the City of Ridgecrest and Ridgecrest Police Department recognizes and commends the various volunteers who dedicate their time and energy to the betterment of our community and for the many dedicated long hours of service, to name a few of the efficient levels of customer service provided. Whereas their stories serve to inspire others to take action, to realize their power to make a difference and be a force that transforms the world. Now therefore be it proclaimed, the Ridgecrest City Council does hereby proclaim April 19th through April 25th as Volunteer Appreciation Week in the City of Ridgecrest in honor of all the Ridgecrest Police Department's volunteers. Proclaim this 15th day of April 2026. Sign the mayor and the rest of the council. Thank you so very, very much. Please come up. Any words? Mark it on the calendar. Henry, do you have any words you would like to say?
The commander does.
I like how this is traveled perfectly. Thank you. Do you have anything, or Chief, do you have any words?
Sure, I'll go. He can go too.
You go.
You can
They're
go too.
amazing.
I'd like you both to say something.
Okay. Hello, Brenda Dawson. I'm the commander for PACT, and I am the program manager and coordinator for CERT. What can I say? These people are amazing. Thousands of hours a year are donated. It's a family, and we love, we used to always say this is our city and our responsibility. And we stand by that. We stand by that, and we love our police officers. So we watch their back so they can do what they've got to do. So, thank you.
So this is a small part of the group that we have, the volunteers. These are the ones that can make it tonight. They truly do make it a lot easier for us to do our work. There are occasions where we'll have a crash and we need help with traffic control, and they just show up. It's like we put the Batman signal in the sky and they just show up because they're paying attention. And most of it is because they care about the community, just like all of you do. They choose to donate their time with us, and we couldn't be more appreciative. They do office work, they do work in the field, all the big community events that contribute to economic development. You will see these folks out there controlling traffic, working parking lots, helping just walk around and make people feel comfortable that there's a presence of people who can keep the community safe. And we couldn't afford to pay them what they're worth. They're amazing. So the police department appreciates you. It's nice that the council recognizes you. And I'm sure the city manager has something to say.
Most of all, thank you guys for all you do. I got the luxury of going out on a CRU event to witness some of the police force's work the other day. Multiple of our volunteers came out to aid with traffic and bringing water and doing anything and everything they could to help. So thank you guys. You guys are truly appreciated.
I would echo what they're saying. I started out as a volunteer, and while we have some amazing guys that in the back, these are force multipliers that allow us to deal with the bad guy while they make us look good. We cannot do our mission as effectively without them, and if we did pay them, there's probably not enough money to. Thank you, guys. I do really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Can we get you guys some pictures?
Yeah, let's get a big picture. I get to move the chair.
We'll get the chairs.
That's an honorable task.
We'll make it happen, absolutely.
But certain,
Let's just get up front, just a minute.
Sure, sure.
so, yeah, if it can just show up on my desk.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Eric, do you want to come out and present the way? So I will be directly hand the mic over to Eric from United Way. Thank you so much for being here. Sir.
So I think our members of the PACT and CERT team are going to get their steps in today because this item is also about the amazing work that they do. Good evening, everyone. My name is Eric Arias, President and CEO for United Way of Central Eastern California. It's an honor to be here. I'm joined by two of my amazing board members, Ms. Jacqueline Aguilar and also Candy Smith, and then two of our team members, Ms. Carla Garcia and also Jacqueline, but Morales. So we're excited to be here in the city of Ridgecrest, and we just are so grateful to have this opportunity and this blessing to be able to help support the amazing work. The mayor, in your remarks, mentioned that the power of a volunteer can truly transform communities and transform the world, and we certainly believe that. We are currently operating our VITA free tax preparation services. Today is tax day. And so if you were to go to our office, we have dozens of volunteers currently preparing taxes for our community members. And so we definitely know and appreciate all of the work and love and care and time and energy and sweat and tears and all of the things that come from our volunteers. And so we just want to say that we are appreciative of all of the work that you do. But want to share a quick story. So I know Mr. Henry Wilson reached out many moons ago, and several months ago, Barbara followed up and said, "Hey, you really got to take a look at this amazing work that we've got going on at PACT and CERT in the community of Ridgecrest." And so Barbara came down to Bakersfield. We had a great conversation. I apologized for the commute to Bakersfield, and she said, "You don't have to worry about that anymore. This is normal for us." But she blew my mind away when she talked about all the services that PACT and CERT provide to this community. And I said, "Well, that's got to be done by a full-time employee." And she's like, "No, not that one." I'm like, "Okay, but the graffiti abatement?" "No, that's not a full-time employee. Those are volunteers." And so that is just powerful beyond imagine, just the amazing work that you all do. And so several years ago, a little bit of history, Indian Wells Valley United Way was in existence, and every quarter, I believe, they would provide checks to both PACT and CERT on a regular basis. Indian Wells Valley United Way no longer exists. I believe they closed their doors back in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. And so there has been this void, and United Way of Central Eastern California has now expanded to not only cover eastern Kern County, but also the communities up near Bishop and Inyo County and also in Mono. And so we are just so grateful to be here today, and we have a small gift to say thank you and to help keep the work going here in the community of Ridgecrest. So if I could have maybe Barbara, Henry, Brenda, and anybody else join us up here, our board members as well. On behalf of United Way of Central Eastern California, it's our pleasure to provide a $3,000 check to both PACT and CERT, and to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you.
Look, we're down.
Don't try to catch that, Jack. But thank you so much.
Thank you, Eric. We appreciate it, and we appreciate everything you guys do. Of course, pleasure to meet you as well. Travis, can we get 4 copies of this? Yes. Yeah, not at this moment, but on her desk, so she can have official ones? Yes. For all the volunteer agencies? Hey, Barb. They'll be on your desk. Okay. Yep. Okay, we're done with presentations. We are on to public comments of items not on the agenda. Persons wishing to address the council on matters that are within the council's jurisdiction and do not already appear on the agenda may do so at this time. Council will not respond to any public comments, but may provide direction to staff to collect information. Pursuant to the Brown Act, the City Council may not act on an item that does not appear on this agenda. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes. The public comment section of the agenda is limited to a total of 1 hour. Each speaker is asked to provide his or her name.
Thank you.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Mike Lasitra, and I wanted to speak again about the 24 AI-powered flock surveillance cameras operated by the city. One of the easiest to understand problems with Flock is the database of every person's movements is a stalker's dreams come true. Flock records every member of the public's vehicle locations 20 billion times a month, regardless of them being suspected of a crime. The data is available to hundreds of thousands of individuals, some sworn police officers, some Flock employees, and some demo accounts with zero accountability. Let me read from a recent news article out of Kansas. In March, Wyandotte County District Attorney Mark Dupree filed 18 charges against Kyle Rector, 39, including child sex exploitation, stalking, and breach of privacy. According to the affidavit filed in support of these charges, a captain in the Bonner Springs Police Department contacted a special agent at the Kansas Bureau of Investigations on January 28, 26, following an internal investigation into Rector. The captain told the KBI agent their investigation revealed that Rector had used law enforcement technology and equipment to stalk his wife. Court documents reveal that Rector used license plate readers, such as Flock cameras, to track his wife and 2 men. As part of their investigation, KBI agents requested Rector's cell phone data. Agents believe that Rector used LPR data close to where one of the two men lived. Agents then received cell phone data from Rector, which showed him in the area of one of the men. Agents also detailed how Rector used department access to the Accurint Virtual Crime Center data to track his wife and the other two men more than 20 times in late December. Agents also received a warrant to search several pieces of equipment belonging to Rector, one of which was a USB hard drive that contained child sex abuse material. The USB also contained images of and video of Rector had taken that captured his wife and one of the two male victims. This is hardly the first time Flock's database was used for harassment. Just a few months ago, there were two separate cases out of Georgia where a police chief and a sheriff's deputy were both charged with misusing LPR data for stalking. So tell me again how Flock has never been hacked, and I will tell you about all the criminals with usernames and passwords to Flock's database. The only way to keep us safe from these abuses is to remove this technology from our streets. We cannot rely on Flock's promises. They responded to these cases in their typical fashion by making it harder to discover abuse by removing names from audit logs. Typical inaction from a company you trusted to keep us safe. Also, it looks like Flock is fundraising again. With over 6,000 organizations signed up and over 100,000 nationwide cameras installed, they are still losing money. The city should offer them $0 to renew the contract. I think they will take it. Have you ever heard of the saying, if you're not paying for the product, then you are the product? Clearly, the fee Flock charges is just a token gesture. The real capital they extract from Ridgecrest is the free access to its residents' behaviors, habits, and movements. This council has given away our privacy so another tech startup can mint a few more billionaires. The only thing transparent about Flock's operation is how transparently they are trying to profit from destroying our freedoms. Thank you.
Hello, Council. My name is Jamie Jones. At the April 1st meeting, the mayor indicated he would be meeting with the city attorney and the police chief to review sections 4.3 and 5.3 of our Flock contract. Since that announcement, several significant developments have occurred that should be central to that discussion. I don't think we ever were, but we're certainly not debating possibilities now. We are looking at documented national shifts in how municipalities are handling this vendor. As we are now operating past the March 26th renewal date, these facts aren't just for information, they are for risk management. In the last 2 weeks alone, 3 major jurisdictions independently moved to terminate their contracts with Flock, citing many of the same issues I and others have raised here. On April 2nd, the city of Sierra Vista terminated its contract. Yesterday, on April 14th, Tompkins County legislature voted 12-1 to terminate their contract immediately due to a lack of confidence in the vendor's safeguards. And today, April 15th, the city of Bloomington, Indiana, announced it is transitioning away from the system following an extensive evaluation. These cities aren't acting on a whim. They are responding to the same contractual vulnerabilities found in our own agreement. The specific risks in Section 4.3, which gives vendor broad rights to our data, were highlighted in a major investigative report by The Guardian on April 6th. Their analysis confirmed that Flock recently removed the "we do not sell data" promise from their master service agreement. This is a material change in how they view their business model. When the vendor stops promising not to sell data, and we have a contract that gives them a perpetual license to use it, the city of Ridgecrest is effectively funding a commercial data harvesting operation. The city attorney needs to determine if we can legally prevent the vendor from monetizing the movements of our residents under these new terms. Regarding Section 5.3, which limits the vendor's liability for data security, new evidence from the Gibbs-Murrah lawsuit amended April 3rd reveals that federal agencies have conducted 1.6 million searches of California data through side door audits. This confirms that the vendor's cloud architecture allows for access that bypasses local police control. It's no longer within our control. Additionally, we are seeing the first documented cases of function creep. I think I mentioned it last time, but this month, 404 Media published a citation from Coffee County, Georgia, where a flock camera was used to issue a traffic ticket for a cell phone violation. This contradicts the assurance that the system is strictly for serious crime. Without stripping the usage rights in Section 4.3, we have no protection against the system becoming an automated ticketing tool in Ridgecrest. The mayor's meeting with the attorney is a necessary first step, but it shouldn't be the last. I should have been doing this from the beginning, but I've been calling out the mayor. I'm now calling out the council, as I will from now on, as it is your responsibility as well to support the mayor by ensuring that any final agreement includes a written no-sale guarantee and a technical ban of out-of-state side door sharing at the very least. Termination would be my preference. Until those safeguards are in place, the prudent move for the city is to suspend our external sharing links immediately. Let's protect the privacy of Ridgecrest residents first and the vendor's interest second. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Daniel Neal. I'd like to speak today about two issues in our city that I find quite concerning. The first issue I'd like to discuss today is the term limit extension that is coming up for a vote. This bill seems to have been pushed through so fast that not only does it list the name of the city incorrectly as Fillmore, but after the last city council meeting when Solomon stated his oppositional stance on the issue, it somewhat seems like the bill has been even more rushed than previously thought, and at least one councilman was unaware of the facts of it. The fact is that this term limit extension can result in some current councilmen serving more than a decade in their current role. This flies directly in the face of the spirit of American democracy and the current limits set by the previous council. It seems to many that this bill is little more than a power grab to make sure that progress is less possible in our city. Our current city council does not seem to even consider when citizens bring forth valid issues, and it has caused nothing but disillusionment and lack of dialogue between the citizens and council, leaving us with a breakdown of public trust that is plainly visible at most city council meetings. The good people of Ridgecrest have lost interest in taking their part in the political discourse of this city because there is little to no discourse happening. Citizens talk, but council rarely listens, and the proof of that lack of interest and trust is obvious when you realize that the majority of these meetings have less than 15 citizens in attendance. I know, I've been counting. Though I do see tonight as an exception. I have spoken with so many people who feel there is no point in going to these meetings, as they know their words will almost certainly fall on deaf ears. To me, that is a travesty. The public needs to be able to trust the ones running the city, but currently, it seems few really do. In my opinion, this is one of the biggest problems we have in our city currently, a lack of trust in our officials, and it needs to be corrected. This bill should not pass, and it should not even be on the docket with the typographical error of listing the wrong city. The second issue is one that I have spoken about at length previously, and that is Flock. I would like to take a quick second today to thank Mike Lucitra and Jamie Jones and the rest of the DFLOC committee for their ongoing work to mitigate the intrusion into our privacy that is Flock. This system has been shown to be used by outside agencies for various reasons, and now, with the incident in Georgia that I discussed via phone last city council meeting, there was a man issued a ticket via Flock camera, something we were told previously was not possible. It is clear that the public is being told one thing while the system does another. I want to make it clear that this system has been, and will be used and abused in ways that we are being told is impossible. It seems as though Flock is lying to us about their whole operation, and either they are lying to the police and political leaders all across the nation, or those leaders are lying to us. This system may help under certain situations, but the rest of the time, it is a public privacy leak of the highest magnitude. I ask everyone who hears me today, do you wish to trade your privacy for something that is only sometimes helpful? Our police have through history, have always been able to handle crime without this system, and I don't believe it to be necessary. Sorry. Is it right that this system is collecting information on you without you having done anything wrong? To me, it is not, and the majority of people who understand the flaws of this system agree. Police did their job for the entirety of our existence without collecting this data and on all of us constantly and without our permission. And I believe that is how it should be. We are a few small steps from the world George Orwell wrote as fiction. We are running headlong at the idea of a constant surveillance state, which is not in line with the spirit of the American Constitution or the ideals our forefathers put forth. Thank you all for your time, and I hope you take care and stay safe.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. Tom Wecknick here. And I'm still waiting for getting an answer about supposedly on the measures that the council passed an ordinance on first reading setting these initiatives to change the term limits law and the mayor term. And like the previous speaker just said about going to change the Fillmore Code. And we heard that it's going to be a very easy fix, be no big deal. It's not a problem. Well, on the election side, it's still there. So it has not been fixed. So question I would have is, I'm still waiting for an answer from the first time I asked, is that after you pass an ordinance, not a resolution, not a policy or procedure, an ordinance which will become law after the second reading, when you pass an ordinance, you should not be changing that ordinance, especially after the people have to vote on that ordinance with incorrect wording within the ordinance. It just makes no sense to me to be putting that to the people to vote on. But you're doing it anyway with the error that's glaring. You're also doing it because you just think you might as well. Let's see what happens, I guess. If you're discussing how you're going to fix that thing in the back room or behind the scenes, or you've got a fix for it, it sure would be nice in the interest of transparency, you would let the people know how you're going to fix it. Or are you going to wait till the last minute after it passes and, okay, now bring it back before the council. Okay, here's what we're going to do. And you were planning on doing this all along, but you chose not to even inform the people how you're going to do it because you won't even answer the question. I don't understand, other than the fact you don't want us to know something. And that's too typical for too many things that are going on. And again, for those up there that try and blame me about that one paragraph that was left in there from the initiative I wrote initially about resetting or declaring the first term as 4 years, you didn't have to leave that in there. Yet you continue to blame me for you leaving it in there on this new one that you've set out there. You should stop blaming me for your actions. You left it in there. I wrote it a long time ago in 2012, but you chose to put it in this one, and you didn't have to. And then I have to ask this question. I asked Rika, how much is this going to cost us to have this? And she told me, well, the best she can tell me, it's like $3.50 a vote, $3.50 a vote that the Kern County charges us. And these are from her. And the last election, the city paid a little around $39,000 for election services. So I have to ask, okay, so how much is this going to cost? Running a flawed initiative to the people to vote on, spending potentially thousands and thousands of dollars on these two initiatives. And then, last meeting, we hear that a year ago, after the 4th of July, we were promised from that podium up there that we were going to have a fireworks display this July 4th. We were promised, we said, or we were told, it's going to happen. And then last meeting we hear, oh, we're not going to have it. We're going to have a drone show. Now, I like drone shows. They are nice, but maybe that should be in addition to a fireworks show. And to say you can't get it arranged, why can Mammoth get it arranged? Bishop, Independence, Lone Pine, Kern Valley, how come they can all get a fireworks display? Small towns, small budgets, and you're getting all the money that you're taking in from our tax measures, and you can't arrange to have a fireworks display on July 4th. There's something wrong there. There's something wrong there. Somebody doesn't want one, apparently, and they're not letting it go through. I just think it's ridiculous that a city the size of Ridgecrest and a valley with over 40,000 people, we can't have a fireworks display on July 4th, just like almost all cities across the country. And don't talk about cost prohibitive, because like I said, if all these small towns can do it, and you have all this money to run an election and spend thousands of dollars on it, you should be able to afford to have a fireworks show.
All right, thank you, Tom.
Mayor?
So we are on to so before, right after this, we will, I know that you have Keith on the line.
Yeah, I do. Would you like me to give a brief explanation on the introduction versus adoption of the ordinance?
Sure, yeah, over to you. Yeah, if you have more comments, please do.
Oh, okay.
No, he can, so Martin can give his statements while you're coming up, that's okay?
Just very briefly.
No, you're fine.
Thank you, Mayor. The process of introduction versus adoption. Ordinance was introduced. It has a typo in it. It is perfectly acceptable and legal to correct a typo in an introduced ordinance. It will be adopted or become effective if and when the vote is taken, if it's approved. We are working with the Kern County office, registrar's office, in trying to get them to correct their copy of it, and I'll keep you posted on the progress on that.
Thank you, sir. I'm sorry.
Kathy Russell. So
Kathy.
in your comment, I was just trying to clarify that the typo, is there a deadline to correct it? I mean, you wouldn't want to have it go on some ballot with it's uncorrected. So is there's a deadline or something so that we know it's going to be corrected?
Yeah, is there like a deadline or something?
Yeah. We've made the request. We're aware of the deadline, so we're trying to get it solved beforehand.
And I also had a question about the ordinance and wondering why a simple word change to be elected for that time frame so that Kyle Blade's 1 year of appointment wouldn't affect, instead of saying term or consecutive years, why wouldn't you say elected? Because then people would know that we actually elected him. He was only appointed for 1 year, but he's been elected for 2 years. I don't understand why that simple word of elected for a consecutive 8-term or consecutive 2 terms wouldn't be sufficient, and would it have to be on the ballot? Couldn't it just be changed to the ordinance and the wording because you haven't changed the term limits or anything like that? I know you can't respond, I'm just saying it's a point of contention to put this on a ballot, which you're in the weeds about ballots and term limits and years of service, when it basically just comes down to whether he was elected or not. To me, that would be a simple resolution for that.
Fair question. Thank you, Kathy.
And I also had a question about the mediation that was discussed in February, where Ron Strand was put on as for consulting for a mediation. They didn't really reference when that mediation was, who was involved, and I haven't heard anything else in council minutes. Can anybody, staff or anybody, respond to that?
Travis?
I don't remember the exact date that we did it off the top of my head, but we did have one mediation session that we went through. Present on the city behalf was the consultant, Ron Strand, myself, Solomon Rajaratnam, and Scott Heyman from the GA side. There's some good deliberation about it, and we're still working through things and waiting on responses.
Mr. Reed, can I jump in for a sec?
Absolutely.
There is a mediation privilege for the discussion that happened at the mediation. So I just want to caution that, and furthermore, that has not necessarily completed.
Yep.
It isn't good form and potentially could waive a privilege to talk about too much about what's happened or is happening at the mediation.
Well, could they address anything as far as when it was, who was involved, though you may not provide minutes or anything like that? It'd be nice to know that these
Yeah,
things are
it's in
happening, but
relation
they
to the
can't-
groundwater adjudication.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more details about all of that at the groundwater authority meetings that are happening.
Which
and
they
it's-
didn't have one this month, but, okay, so.
Yeah.
So I guess, is there some way to put on the website or something that the mediation is taking place, however we can't respond, so that people know who's being involved? Something to give us more transparency of what's
Yeah.
happening with that issue.
Okay, thank you, Kathy. I think what I'll do is when we get to that point, I'll ask Keith just to give a quick
A brief
blurb real
summary
quick.
of that?
Something like that. Whatever we can say, I'm sure he'll say.
And there has been
Well,
some,
and I would point out that there is a significant public outreach effort that's going on through the groundwater authority. There are materials that are on the website, and there are regular public outreach statements and efforts. And by the way, I think there is Scott, correct me if I'm wrong about the date, but there is a workshop on the 30th of this month to talk about many of the issues that are being discussed at the mediation in a lot of detail.
That is correct.
well, some summary of that would be very helpful. People are trying to follow that.
Okay.
I only had one more question, and you might not be able to respond to it, but I was reading through the Brown Act, and I was wondering, there was something mentioned last June about a letter that was sent that Scott O'Neill thought was illegal, and he asked for action, and I was reading that there's a cure and correction aspect of the Brown Act where somebody could actually ask the council to correct their action or to do something about it. And I was wondering what that process would be. I know I'm out of time, but I wonder who could respond to that.
So
If you felt like the Brown Act was violated because there was no public, just, et cetera.
Yeah, he felt that way, and then the lawyer actually responded to him. It was I'm not going to go too far into it, but it was more of a theater.
Oh, no, I understand, but the fact is that we didn't know anything, the public, and then the bill just got dropped. So I'm just saying, if you felt you were being violated by the Brown, if there's some process, I just would like to know what that is, I guess, so.
Okay, fair.
I'll follow up with maybe, who would the attorney be the one to?
Yeah,
follow
the
that
city
up?
manager and the attorney.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll do
Thank you,
that.
Kathy.
Thank you.
Okay, so Martin, do we want to have council announcements direction or go right to dive into our?
Number 7, that would be really helpful.
Okay, we will pause that. We will go right on to number 7. Mr. Mayor, we are moving number 7 up to right now. You showed up just in time. There we go. So timing is perfect. So we are on to the public hearing, request for the permanent revocation of business licenses for Freddy's Smoke Shop and Freddy's Smoke Shop Number 2, Ridgecrest Municipal Code, Section 9, TAC 236. Over to the city attorney, and I would say in this case,
Thank
probably.
you. And Honorable Mayor and council members, since I have been assisting staff in prosecution of this case, I will recuse myself from advising you. Keith Lemieux will be serving my role during the hearing. I will be basically presenting the case to the council from the well. Thank you.
Sure. Let me, if you'll allow me, let me explain a little bit of what's going on. I think it's been a long time since you guys have done one of these. This is a bit of an unusual item for the city council. There was an action taken by staff to revoke a business license. The municipal code allows an individual who's in that situation to appeal that decision directly to the city council, which is what's taken place. This process that we're engaged in now is part of ensuring that any business owner in that position is afforded appropriate due process. So we're going to conduct this part of the meeting a little bit differently for that reason than you might be used to. Martin just mentioned since he's been advising the staff on the matter, and including the action that was taken. In the interest of due process, he's not to advise you about how to proceed at this hearing, and that's why I'm stepping in now. You guys are going to act a bit in this like a judge might act in a courtroom. You're going to hear the evidence from the staff. You're going to hear whatever the business owner wants to put on as evidence. Once you guys have closed that hearing, then you guys can have some discussion amongst yourself and then reach a decision. So you should base the decision and the discussion simply on what is presented here tonight, not on any outside information that you might have, because that would deny the business owner the ability to understand and interrogate the evidence against them. So, Mr. Mayor, if you're taking over the meeting, what I would recommend is that you start with the city, let the city put on whatever information and evidence it wants, then let the business owner do it. You could let either side make any kind of rebuttal statements about the other. It would be appropriate for council to ask questions of those if you feel so inclined during the statements or after the statements, however you want to handle it. Once in order to preserve due process, once you get past the point where people are providing statements and evidence, you need to close the hearing and then deliberate, and you need to be disciplined enough not to go back and start asking questions again, because you're sort of essentially reopening the hearing at that point. And we want to make sure that everything is on a balanced playing field. Does that all make sense, what I said?
That does.
Yep.
Any questions about it?
No, sir.
All right, and with that, I would turn it over to you to start the hearing.
So now we will open the public hearing. I assume there's instructions. Nope.
Yeah, I didn't officially open it, so
Okay,
you're good.
So we are opening the public hearing at 6:45 PM. If you guys would like to present, and then we'll have them present.
Thank you. Honorable Mayor, council members, we're here to ask you to do a difficult thing, but a necessary thing. Closing down a business in the city is not an easy decision, but again, based on the evidence that's going to be presented, we believe that it's a necessary decision in this case. You've had similar experience with hotels that refuse to pay transit occupancy tax. We've had these hearings. They resulted in payment. This violation is not subject to fixing with money, but we'll move forward and, again, present our evidence, and we'll allow the store owner to move forward after we're done. This is a revocation hearing which is permitted under Ridgecrest Municipal Code Section 9-236C. That code section allows the council to revoke, cancel, or terminate a business license in the event the business engaged in any illegal activity that creates a nuisance or is in violation of the law. And we will present evidence that that is exactly what occurred here. Procedurally, this hearing was originally set for April 1st. We received a request and it was set within the timeline that is provided for in our municipal code. We provided notice to the opposing side. The council requested that in order to prepare for this hearing, we give them more time. So we conceded. We moved the hearing to today's date, which gave them additional 2 weeks. The materials on which we're basing this request have been provided to City Council. They are the same materials that the other side received. They have the same things that the council received, basically the content of the agenda packet. This originated due to a routine inspection of tobacco stores by our police department, and the inspection in Freddy's Smoke Shop 2 discovered illegal substances, cannabis, and psilocybin mushroom products being displayed for sale in the store. Those were confiscated, arrest ensued, and charges have been presented to the district attorney, and they're being reviewed for filing. The owner of the store has had a history with our police department. In 2019, he was charged with and convicted of a felony for running a gambling operation out of one of his stores. I will turn it over to Detective Ortiz, who, along with Detective Solorzano, conducted the investigation and inspection, and he'll provide you with the detail of what he found.
Detective Solorzano. On 03/17/26, the Ridgecrest Police Department Detective Bureau conducted a compliance check of the local smoke shops in the city of Ridgecrest. We arrived at the Freddy Smoke Shop number 2, which is located at 201 North China Lake Boulevard. The owner of that store was later identified as, I want to say it correctly, as last of Naum, first of Elias. Prior to entering the store, I just want to briefly describe what it looked like. It did, based off my training and experience, it did not look like a normal smoke shop, even though it states that it is a smoke shop. There's a lot of decorations in front that are closely related or similar to a marijuana plant leaf of 5 thin leaves. It's got green and yellow painting on the ground, as well as the window storefronts. The window storefront had a marijuana joint kind of painted on there as a decoration, which could be tobacco or marijuana. On the other side of the main window, it also had a green cross. Usually we see that with CBD shops or CBD products or actual legitimate marijuana dispensaries. And we also located just a very bright neon sign that was clearly a marijuana plant. Based off of that observations, to me, it already kind of signified that the store wasn't an official dispensary, but may have been selling suspected marijuana products without a license. Once we entered the store, we can see all the vapes up along the right side of the wall. And directly next to that, we can see kratom products being sold and THC vapes, as well as jars. When flipped over, you can see actual marijuana and bud plants inside. Upon inspection of the vapes that closely look like tobacco vapes, it states that there's THC derivative products as THC A, THC C. There's small triangular logos on there with the marijuana sign that says California compliant, that identifies it as a marijuana product, as well as Delta 8, Delta 9 variants of marijuana. From there, Sergeant Ortiz was able to confirm the licenses that were posted in the store that only allow them to sell tobacco products and actually operate as a business. On top of that, we had located nitrous oxide containers that are associated to laughing gas, that you actually have to have a fire permit to be able to sell and store those products in the store. Additionally, behind the register, found pre-rolled joint cigarettes that were being sold with a price tag on them for $7 of marijuana joints, and a couple pairs of illicit weapons or illegal weapons that are not supposed to be sold.
Thank you, Detective. Though California does permit sale of marijuana in places that are permitted to do so, Ridgecrest is not one of those places. Our city does not. We have the power to regulate or prohibit cannabis sales, and in Ridgecrest, the sale of cannabis is illegal. Furthermore, any sale of cannabis anywhere in the state requires a state license for that purpose, which the business owner does not have. The two stores, one is owned by Mr. Naum, the other business license was filed in the name of a corporation. He is the CEO of that corporation on the business license, which is in your packet. He's also identified as the point of contact for that corporation or entity. So we are requesting from the council that, based on this evidence presented, the business license for both Freddy Smoke Shop and Freddy Smoke Shop 2 is revoked. And the reason for asking for both of them is he is connected to both entities, and he is engaged in illegal activity. And whether or not it's in only one location or both, you have the ability to revoke both of these licenses, and that's what we're asking for. With that, we'll answer any questions you may have, and then maybe appropriate to move with the other side.
Council, any questions?
I don't have any questions at this time. I think that, I mean, with what's been presented so far, it seems pretty cut and dry. So what I'm wondering is if, when opposition has something to say, that I'm open to asking more questions after that. But Detective, thank you. Sounds like you guys were doing your job, shutting down illegal activity in the city, and that's exactly what we hope that you will do and we expect to do.
One thing I don't know if I made clear, and I apologize if I didn't, the psilocybin is called magic mushrooms. It's a product, and I have no idea, but I had to write it down to know how to pronounce it. But it is an illegal substance. It's a controlled substance, and sale of which is prohibited.
Do you have a question?
It is, and it's been well known that the city of Ridgecrest has prohibited it for a very long time now, for good reason.
The one question I have on the, you were talking about the THC products for sale in a jar. Is that what it was, that they had them in a jar and then you looked at the bottom and then it listed THC, B, and C?
So once we started inspecting the vapes, because like I said, they're very similar to regular tobacco vapes, I flipped over a couple of jars that are called snowballs. That there was a sticker all the way around it and on top where I couldn't see in it. And as soon as I flipped it over, you can see marijuana nugs directly under it and inside. I forgot to mention, next to that, the next shelf had the psilocybin magic mushroom chocolate bars.
Okay.
So there's several of those. And a MAGA magic mushroom, which when we opened it, had the raw form of actual mushrooms with the stem and the cap inside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then as a closing or conclusion, wanted just to inform the council, the attorney for the store owner did file an ex parte motion this morning and a petition to basically stop this hearing from occurring. So we appeared and the judge ruled in our favor, so we are having this hearing.
So I'll probably ask more questions later, but I guess one last one. I know it's all opinion, but in your opinion, Detective, is there a way that you could have not known what you were selling?
Initially, walking into the store, I'm not gonna lie, I did kind of bypass the one shelf that did have the THC vapes, but until we actually physically grabbed them and started comparing them, then you can actually see that those vapes have marijuana contents in them.
So I guess the question was, is there any way that
Like you took money, right, like you're taking money for something that you brought into your store and you're selling it. Is there any way that, I mean, you said there was labels on it. You said that it was very clearly THC, very clearly psilocybin marked. I was just asking the question for the sake of asking it. Is there a way that you could have sold that and not known what it was?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Quick question. Forgive me, you walked into smoke shop number 2 initially. I assume later you visited the other smoke shop. In both instances, was the cannabis as overtly visible?
I could answer that, Sergeant Ortiz. So essentially what we did was an administrative inspection. That's through the California Business Bureau, or I'm sorry, the California Business and Professions Code, and that's 22980. So when we inspected both shops, we did it almost simultaneously. We had 8 shops that we did in the city. So it wasn't something that was targeted, it was something that we planned. So every shop in the city was going to get visited and inspected. When we went to Freddy's number 2, we saw all the products out in the open. There was nothing hidden. Everything was priced for sale. When we went to the first location, Freddy's number 1, There was no products there at all. So all the products were contained at Freddy's number 2.
Thank you. Have we the same restrictions of magic mushrooms as we do cannabis?
It's a controlled substance.
It's classified different.
Unlike cannabis, magic mushrooms are not permitted for sale anywhere in California or in the United States for that matter.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Keith, are we able to then, after we hear from the other party, to bring back for questioning if we have questions for when we have the rebuttals? Is that?
Yeah, you just have to make sure you give both sides equal time to respond to things.
Okay.
I do have one.
Okay. Go ahead.
Just to one more item, which might save us time later. Would you like to hear, both officers have been trained in drug recognition and know what they're looking at and know how to identify it. But if you want to receive specific evidence to that effect, we can have them tell you their training. It's up to you.
I mean, that's up to them if they feel the need, or chief if you feel the need, but I trust them, they're here doing their job.
The other side.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Councilman Heyman?
Yes, I do have one question. It was mentioned earlier that there was illegal weapons that were in the store too. Could you elaborate on what those weapons were?
Yeah, so upon inspection of Freddy's number 2, we found, I believe, 2 or 3 brass knuckles in a drawer that were also priced, but they were not out displayed for sale. They were behind the counter.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Seeing others, this is not public?
Bring up the other
Okay.
side. Yeah.
We can bring up the other side.
Good evening, Mayor, City.
You got to get on the mic, really close to the mic.
Yeah, it's hard. You kind of got to be right up on it.
Fair enough. Good evening, City Council members and Mayor. I represent Elias Naum and the corporations that he's associated with. So, as you have in the packet, we're dealing with definitely one of the licenses as being a corporation, and that is number 2, the one that we have a problem with. That my client was a partner with another individual who since is no longer a partner, who was the one managing that place and left. And that's how it is that it was found so different, one shop than the other. Elias Naum was managing number 1, which is where he was at the time of the inspection. In fact, he was called to come to number 2 when the problem arose. This is just as an explanation as to how is it that we have 2 different shops with different entities, because the number 2 is in the name of a corporation. So there's 2 distinct licenses with 2 distinct entities, but yes, Elias Naum is associated in both. Now, as the officer mentioned, this was an administrative inspection, and that's how it started March 17, pursuant to a business code, Business and Professions Code 22980, which allows for the inspection of tobacco shops. And that's what it was planned. Inspection on that day, 8 different tobacco shops were inspected at the same time. 22980 allows, pursuant to the Business and Professions Code, tobacco shops which are licensed by the state and are given license to sell tobacco by the state, and it is regulated by the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration, the CDTFA, has a whole regulatory scheme that contains also a penalty scheme, a penalty framework. Upon first violation of anything, then there is penalties. If there's 2 violations in 5 years, there are penalties, and they increase. If there are 3 violations in 5 years, that's when maybe the revocation can come. And it's all that section 229806 is where the penalties are. And just to give you an example, first violation of a tobacco shop on an inspection that had, like the one that occurred on March 17, on a first violation. If the products are more than $200, which apparently without just listening to the officer, seems like it was more than $200, there's a $2,000 civil penalty. That's just on a first. No revocation, no suspension. Now, if there is a second violation in 5 years, then the penalty on above $200 is $5,000 civil penalty plus 10-day suspension. On a third violation in 5 years, in products that are more than $200, that's $10,000 civil penalty plus revocation. So yes, the Business and Professions Code, the state, our legislature already implemented penalties of first, second, and third violation, and it gave an idea of how they should be penalized on violations. Just to give perspective to the city, to all of you. This is a first violation on one shop only, and here the city is moving straight to revocation immediately, meaning on the 17th of March, this happened. Let's set it, 24th was the letter, and April 1st, we're revoking your licenses, both shops. That's how fast-moving and extreme this was, in which I was able to get an extra 2 weeks. I've requested during those 3 weeks between me, my client, getting the letter, and now, constantly letters to the city attorney asking for police reports, pictures, show me the body cam footage, lab tests, photographs. There must be police reports. I got nothing. Nothing. Until today, still I have nothing. There must be, because my client was arrested. My client was, there's supposedly, according to city attorney, there's going to be felonies brought against my client. As of now, an hour ago that I've checked with the Superior Court, I have not seen any charges filed. However, there's got to be a lot of material out there that I was just not provided. And counsel, and I forgot his name, that is advising you, talked about due process. What kind of due process, what kind of meaningful defense can I present if I am not provided in any way with the materials that is out there? Clearly, it's being hidden from me and my client to be able to meaningfully defend. It is just being an ambush straight to revoke my client's license. Nothing else. I've suggested to the city attorney again and again until even me met this morning to come up with maybe something else that we can come up with. Maybe a probation. I mean, all the improper, unlawful products have been removed from number 2. There was nothing on number 1. Everything that is, even the tooth, apparently, I hear this from the first time. It's not even in any place. The brass knuckles, anything. I didn't get a list on the products or anything that's the first time I hear about it. It's not here, and I wasn't provided anything. How's that due process? How is that due process that I hear this for the first time now? The ordinance 9236 from the Municipal Code of City of Ridgecrest allows you to revoke the license or terminate or suspend on just cause, right? I mean, the word is just cause. How is that just? This would be an unjust. This would be unjust process and an unjust result. Two different entities own the shop. One with nothing, an impeccable record from the moment the license was issued until today. One license with no problem at all. That's Freddy Shop number 1. How could he possibly be revoked a license that has absolutely an impeccable record? How could he even be asked for? And then on number 2, it's a corporation. Does the corporation has a agent for service of process? Different, maybe? Do we know the name of the corporation? That the city attorney knows the corporation name. Because you have in the packet the actual application. It was presented to you. It was presented to me for the first time. The first time I've ever seen is this packet just a few days ago, that it was part of the agenda that the clerk has given me, has provided to me, and I saw for the first time the application. Until then, the city attorney has informed me that this city license were in the name of Elias Naum. But if you look at the packet, you'll see that the application was in the name of a corporation. My client was a partner, as I mentioned at the beginning. It's all in there in the application with another individual. That's who he bought this shop from. Doesn't matter. That's how shop number 2 and shop number 1 are so different and distinct. And and it's being all rammed all pushed together as if it's all one, as if Elias Naum is part of it, and therefore let's just put it all together. But again, do we know the name of the corporation? Shouldn't the corporation have been notified? How do we notify a corporation of anything? We send it to the proper agent for service of process. That's how a corporation should be notified, by law. I mean, that's how it is. Do we know who the agent for service of process? I know because I've seen it in the Secretary of State page, and it's not my client. It's not Elias Naum. It's another individual who he should have been notified. Some guy by the name of Bashir, something who apparently I know apparently is the one who organized the corporation. But anyways, what I'm saying is this is being pushed fast as if it's all together, Elias Naum, and let's revoke both licenses together because they're all in it together. It isn't. It isn't, and the city council should be careful in going ahead and revoking 2 licenses and putting it all together as the city wants to do so fast. All that I'm saying, and I heard about the products, is not to minimize in any way what has happened and what was found. It is serious. It is serious. It is serious for me. It is serious for anybody who hears about all these products that were unlawfully being sold. Whether it's cannabis, whether it's the brass knuckles, the mushrooms mentioned, all of it shouldn't have been there, and they were removed. They are no longer there. But seriousness, which I do not discount or minimize in any way, doesn't negate the fact that the process has to be fair. And it is not fair. It is not fair 3 weeks from the inspection or from the first letter brought in. Here we are to defend two shops that would put families out on the street, closing 2 businesses with employees, a business that feeds and a family, children, a wife, and would put 6 employees immediately without work tomorrow, and my client unable to pay the rent to the landlords. It would have a lot of consequences. And there is other ways in between nothing and shutting them down 3 weeks later. There's a whole degree of possibilities, which I've brought it up to the city attorney again and again. Until even this morning, we had a conversation, even before the hearing, suggesting maybe the bad items, the wrong items, the unlawful items were removed. They're not there anymore. So how do we ensure the safety, and which is what the city council should be concerned about, safety of the citizens of the city of Ridgecrest? How do we benefit in the most way the residents of the city? Is it by shutting down and putting a family out without being able to pay, without landlords being unable to get rent, and employees out on the street? Is that the only solution? Because I suggested maybe a probationary period. I suggested my client accept inspections at any time of the day, as opposed to this 29, keep on forgetting this code section, 22980, that requires inspections to be at reasonable hours. My client would accept a supervision of both shops constantly, with allowing inspections anytime, 24 hours a day, without a warrant, not just the public areas, but offices inside, payment to the city, fines. I mean, that is pretty much what the code, the legislature is putting in the penalties. A degree between 0 and third violation, the penalties keep on rising. But we're dealing here with the first violation, just the first violation. How do we go? On a first violation, you're out of business on 2 shops. We're closing it. This is the death penalty of the business. That's what it is you got bad products, you're out. We're closing it out. That is extreme. It's outrageous. It's excessive. That is the word. It's excessive and extreme. There's got to be something before that. There's got to be. My client is willing. You'll hear from my client's son. Of course, my client is can't testify. He's facing possible, because as of today, charges haven't been filed, but it's possible that there'll be charges filed, so I advised him not to come to testify, but we got his son who will talk about his family and what the impact on his family would be if and his ties and the family ties to the community, and the impact it would cause what the city is asking you to do. So I conclude by asking you simply not to revoke both licenses. There's other ways in between that the city council can ensure the safety and the safety of the citizens without having to close these two shops down. It's a first violation. I'm going to address the issue of the city attorney mentioning that that my client had a history. Yes, 2019, he was charged with a gambling because there was a gambling. It was a fish game in the store. That's what it was. It's totally unrelated. If anything about that history, 2019, him getting had a gambling. If that's all it is, if anything, it shows actually no more gambling. There was nothing of that sort. So 2019, we're 7 years later with no issues, no problems, nothing of gambling, nothing of anything. This one is he purchased from the wrong person a shop, and he didn't apparently wasn't cleaned up, and there were items that should not have been there. That's the best I can give as an explanation, not an excuse in any way. They were removed, and my client is committed to making sure there's nothing wrong that shouldn't be there in any of the shops, as he clearly kept it clean, shop number one. I rest with that. I will invite.
Actually, can we ask you questions
Sure,
before?
sorry about that.
Is
Sorry,
that fine?
sorry, it wasn't for me to bring anybody else.
That's all right, that's all right. Anyone have questions?
One question comes to mind. I understand there's a third smoke shop co-owned perhaps by your client. And this was not one of the two.
I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I think the city attorney would know more, because at the beginning it was the city attorney brought three, and apparently he clarified, and that's why there's only two. He knows more, but not from my client. But maybe the city attorney can answer.
If you'd like to clarify.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Naum's name was on the third license, Puff and Huff. He was also, at some point in time, involved in that store. We received a clarification and reapplication on their different name. He has not been involved with that store for some time. They just did not update the license.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Not at this time.
So, I guess I just want some clarification on 22-980, subsection 6, I assume, on the first violation and the penalty. Just in your mind, it was over $200 that accounts for a violation, is that correct? Based on.
Good question. Let me just go straight exactly so that I'm very clear on that, because I do have it. Give me a second. I got it. So it is 22980.6. On a first violation, if the aggregate retail value is under $200, 1,000 civil penalty. If the aggregate retail value is 200 or more, 2,000 civil penalty. On a second, on the first one, no suspension, no revocation. On a second, if the aggregate value is under $200, 2,000 civil penalty plus 5 days suspension. If it's more than $200, 5,000 civil penalty plus 10-day suspension. And there it comes on a third violation. The third violation in 5 years, under $200, $5,000 civil penalty plus revocation. More than $200, $10,000 plus revocation. But that's a third violation in 5 years. So that, and the only reason I brought it up, because this is the California legislature deciding what should be the right penalty on violations.
Right, so in your mind, does that mean that $200 for sale of anything? So including illegal substances, we could throw in potential human trafficking, right? Like it could run the gamut of anything over $200, not just tobacco products. Is that your assumption of the?
Good question. No, my assumption is we're talking about violations of for cannabis being sold at a tobacco.
So that's what 22,980.6
Yes,
is?
it deals with sale of cannabis or cannabis products for a tobacco.
And then is there any section, maybe another .89 that talks about controlled substances like psilocybin? Or?
No. That is not, that section does not cover that. And the controlled substance we're talking about, my understanding is a few jars, according to my understanding, is a few jars of these mushrooms, and that's the controlled substance that were in three, my understanding is 3 jars that were found. That is, I understand, that is not covered, my understanding is not covered by that 22980.
Yeah, and, because that's, I guess where my concern comes in, cannabis, but the controlled substance, that's what kind of kicks us a little over the.
I understand.
Okay.
All I can say is, I understand the question, that is my answer, and the city council can, and I do concede that maybe the violation should be more than just a first violation at $1,000 or $2,000, and my client is willing to do way more, pay more, maybe agree to search and seizures that would be very strict, at any time, no warrant, probationary period. There's other things that could be done other than revocation.
So then, I guess, I'm sorry if I'm taking up anyone's time, but then your idea that the 2019 gambling learned his lesson, no more gambling, so now controlled substance learned his lesson, and then 7 years later, we're going to not get to something else, is the idea?
No, I'm not explaining away, and I'm not suggesting in any way, but we should not be putting it all together as if he has a history. He doesn't have a history of this thing. Yes, there was a fish game apparently 2019, and that is the history. But it's unrelated. It's unrelated. There was no more gambling.
Sure. And no more problems with the law until now.
Well,
maybe.
That's right.
Allegedly.
Maybe, allegedly, as it is right now. We're just too early to know. But I understand what's being presented. All I am saying is that this has all the products that should not have been there have been removed, and we can ensure, and the city can ensure, that this is the case.
Another quick question, not necessarily for you, sir, maybe to our city attorney, just real quick. If there is a revocation, does that prohibit that individual from having another business license in the future for a different business?
No, revocation of the license is a revocation of this license. He can apply for another business, and it could be considered based on the history each time. And while I have the mic, I just want to clarify, because I think this is heading into the weeds. 22978.2, penalty for possession of unstamped cigarettes or untaxed tobacco products. Those are the items covered by the monetary steps that council listed. And again, our request to the council has nothing to do with the state license. State will deal with this tobacco license and however they wish to deal with it. We're asking for a revocation under our laws, under the municipal code. So just want to make sure that we're clear. We're not asking to revoke his tobacco license. We're just asking to revoke his business license, close them down.
And so that, I think that clarifies my question, because I had my thoughts were on the violations that was mentioned, that code does not cover illegal drug violations as being part of a violation that he's referring to, because I think that's two distinct entities on their own.
But it does cover the cannabis and the THC. If no more questions, I will have my client's son come and talk a little about him and his family.
Okay.
Oops, sorry.
Hello, good evening. My name is Will Naum. I want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight regarding my dad's businesses. So my dad had these businesses for multiple years, and that's how me and my family live. That's our income support. And also, there's my grandparents, and we do have 6 employees that live off of that business. That's our only source of income. And yeah, I have a 7 years older brother, 14 years old sister, and my mom. We all live together. My dad he's a source of income. My sister and my brother are going to school in the city of Ridgecrest. Me personally, I'm going to barber school. I want to become a barber, and that's where I'm heading for. And so there's nobody else working at the household other than my dad. And he's our #1 support. And yeah, I came to the city of Ridgecrest when I was 10 years old. And my little brother was also born in the city of Ridgecrest. My sister and my mom, I came from back home from Syria, straight to the city of Ridgecrest. I attended school here, also my sister and my brother. And, coming from a country that had a war and stuff, I didn't know how to speak English. Thanks to schools here, I learned all of that. And I had no friends. It was a very hard beginning for me. And, we kind of had to come here and rebuild a new house, rebuild a new life, start all over again. And got all of that done, helped with school. Thanks to the school, thanks to the city of Ridgecrest, there was a lot of programs that helped me out with the English and all of that. And I wouldn't say my English is too perfect, but I'm trying.
No, you're doing pretty good, yeah.
And also my sister, so same thing. My little brother, he was born here, so his English is going to be a lot better, hopefully. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I came to this city. It feels like home to me now, and for us to leave the city again, it's not going to be easy just going and starting somewhere else, or not even having a house at all. Under some points, my dad's businesses get shut down. We have no source of income to pay anything, so we're pretty much going to be on the street after that decision. And I don't know, I'm seeking, maybe you guys could help us out, do something for my father, because this is literally our only source of income, and we do not want to lose a house again. We felt it the first time losing it. We do not want to lose it again. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So at this time, if you guys would like to rebuttal, and then we can go back.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things that I wanted to make sure that we have a clear understanding of. There were some representations made that may not be exactly accurate. Counsel for Mr. Naum was provided with all the evidence that you were provided with at the same time. Yes, there is a package that was forwarded to the district attorney's office for criminal prosecution. That's not what we're basing our request here. We're basing it on the evidence that it's been presented to the council. This is not a criminal court, and Keith can advise you on burden of proof and the rules that are applicable. Due process is observed here, but only in a reasonable manner. This is not evidentiary, it's not courtroom rules. The application that is in your packet for the corporate entity has him, Mr. Nauma, CEO. He's also the contact. Clearly states on the bottom, he's the contact. This is not service of process. We're not suing him. We serve the right person. His own son, a moment ago, said, my dad's businesses. He is the one who's responsible for these businesses, and that's why we're asking for revocation to be applied to both of these businesses. I covered the state tobacco license issue, and then in my conversations with counsel, I did tell him that charges were being sent to DEA. I did not tell him what he was going to be charged with, because that's not our decision. We did talk about the prior felony, and maybe that's where the confusion came in. With that, again, we're concerned that in fact there is a pattern. He's run a gambling operation, been caught, charged, convicted. A few years later, doing something else that's illegal. Who knows what's next? I think that based on the history and based on the evidence, I think our request is reasonable. It is unfortunate, but the circumstances that led up to it were not within the council's control, were not within our control. They were only within the control of the owner of the businesses.
Any questions from the council?
No, I think the issue before us is rather straightforward. I think that we're being given the evidence that we've been given, and there is somewhat of a track record. I think that it seems like a straightforward situation. I would ask, and this is, again, I don't want to get down too far down in the weeds, because like you said, this is not a court of law. That's not what we're doing here. We're talking about some business licenses. There's a reason I asked the question before. Businesses can always start back up. That doesn't seem to be a problem, but there needs to be a precedent set, in my opinion. Martin, out of the gambling, the conviction, what came out of that? Do you recall, or did you look it up?
He was convicted of at least one felony count and served some time.
Oh, that's, okay.
And Mayor, before you bring it back to the council, there's still public comment.
Yeah. So I guess the question I have is that he was managing Smoke Shop 1. I guess that's how we're doing it. And then there was the partner that was at least at the presence of Smoke Shop 2.
It's not a partnership. It's at least on paper, it's a corporation. I don't know who was managing the second shop, but.
And so there's no partner on the business.
The corporation lists, I believe, a secretary and a treasurer, I think. Okay. But he is the CEO. Mr. Naum is the CEO. He's also the point of contact. It's clearly stated he is the one who needs to be contacted with anything having to do with it. And that's why he was contacted in his other shop and came right over.
Okay. All right. Before we go to, I'm not going to say rebuttal, but I guess rebuttal. Any other comments, questions for this side? No? Sir?
Just on, rebuttal, which means I'm going to address just the few comments that were addressed by the city attorney. So clearly there was a package that did not come to me and did not go to you, but it went to the district attorney. Police reports, photographs, body cam footage. I can only speculate what has to be in that criminal package For all we know, there might be even lab tests. All that was selectively not provided to me, despite my repeated requests in writing, emails, and letters, and take my word for it, that in very detailed of what I want before this hearing. Again and again, it was denied with the same kind of explanation. This is just a routine, you're not entitled, evidence code does not apply, and this is not a criminal matter. So it was not provided to me. How can that has to be, how's that due process? How can I present a meaningful defense if I don't even know, if I hear for the first time now at a hearing what kind of products, what would be the reason not to give me pictures of those products that were taken, and so that I can prepare, let me see what's there. Why do I need to listen about these mushrooms and brass knuckles for the first time today at the hearing? 20 days? I mean, that's the reason I requested. City attorney said, I gave him an extra 2 weeks. But what would be the purpose of giving me 2 weeks if you don't give me anything to look at and review and possibly present a defense?
So, sorry to cut you off. This is my first one of these. Have you represented anyone for a business revocation or a revocation of business license before at a city council?
Not to the city councils, no. This is my first appearance at a city council meeting. Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
I've done with business license, but in front of cities and whatever, different bodies.
Okay. Okay, so I can't ask that question of, in the past, have you received that information? The second question then is, have you ever received like that type of packet before criminal charges have ever been filed?
At the time of an arraignment, I do criminal defense for the last 40 years. At the time of the arraignment, meaning when you are when you need to plead guilty or not guilty to the charges and charges are read to you, that's when discovery has to be provided. A defendant doesn't have to ask for discovery. Discovery has to be provided. And discovery means everything, including mitigating circumstances. So if there was a statement, if there were witnesses that would negate and that would give me possibility of defending, or if there was someone that said, this is my stuff, not his stuff, I put it in there, not Elias, no, I don't know. How would I know? Maybe they took statements, maybe they were in the police report, but I don't know.
So I guess at this point, the individual has not been arraigned, right? So like, it's not normal for you to get that packet of information since there hasn't even been an arraignment yet, correct?
Correct. Supposedly, my client is getting arraigned tomorrow on that case, and tomorrow, if charges are filed, then I would get it tomorrow from the district attorney. As the city attorney just mentioned, it went to the district attorney. So the district attorney would have to give it to me. But it just happened that I could not, I tried. I went to Bakersfield today to a judge and tried to continue this hearing so that I can prepare better for this hearing. But the judge denied it for constitutional reasons. That's why it was meaning the judge said, me as a judicial officer cannot tell the legislature, it was for constitutional reasons, separation of powers, that he said, I cannot do what you're asking me to do. That's what happened this morning. But the answer is, maybe tomorrow, if charges are filed tomorrow, I would get everything that I've been asking for the last 3 weeks. But for all we know, and I hope not, but it could be too late by tomorrow. What I'm saying is, there was I believe that my client is not getting due process as mentioned at the beginning by the city attorney selectively giving this very nothing information and getting us ambushed with information for the first time at the hearing. That is not right. That is just not right.
May I address something?
Yeah, let me see if any other council members have any comments or questions for the attorney?
No, good.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
and my apologies to my colleague, but I think we've gone through rebuttal back and forth already. Are you going to allow a second round of rebuttal? Because if Mr. Kogzanowicz comments, then, you know.
Then we have to, okay.
The other side again, yeah.
Okay, all right, well, we'll open it up for public comment. Any members of the public wish to comment? Close the hearing? Okay, so now at 7:44, we will close the hearing and then take a vote. All right.
Well, wait a minute. You guys do have the ability to deliberate among yourselves if you want to.
Okay.
And then if you don't want to deliberate or there's, you know, you guys have heard enough, then someone can make a motion.
Any deliberation? Any individual want to comment or state their case or?
In listening, the word accountability kept echoing through my head. I'm prepared, from what I've heard, to concur with the city manager's recommendation in this circumstance.
Councilman Heyman?
No, I'll just make a comment that, you know, we're here to make a decision in regards to business license and any violations of the city's ordinances, and I think the evidence, or, you know, the presentation is, has been sufficient for what we have before us today.
Councilman Blake?
I'll make a motion for revocation.
Okay, motion, any second?
Second.
Councilman Gorman.
Aye.
Councilman Heyman.
Aye.
Mayor Endicott.
Aye.
Councilman Blades.
Aye.
4 ayes, motion carries.
Correct.
Okay, folks, with that, I'm going to log off. Good night.
Yes.
Thank you, Keith.
Thank you.
Good night, Keith.
Okay,
Thank you, gentlemen.
all right.
Thanks, detectives, Sergeant. Appreciate it, man.
So since I came in as we moved this one up.
Yeah, so where we were left off, which is a fair question.
Is that
We're
council-
on item number
council-
3 for consent calendar.
Did we have these?
We were right at, we didn't do council announcements or direction.
Okay.
We had public comment though, and then consent calendar.
Okay, so we'll move to council announcements and direction. Are there any members of the council that wish to announce anything or direct?
No announcements. I think there was some direction items, and so Kathy, I know you were hoping to get an answer. Would it be fair enough to wait to the end, maybe get Travis or Martin to give you a further answer? Okay, thanks, Kathy.
All right, then we will move on to the consent calendar. All items listed on consent are considered to be routine and non-controversial by city staff. Consent items may be approved by one motion if no member of the council or audience wishes to comment or ask questions. If comment or discussion is desired by anyone, the item will be removed from the consent calendar and will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the city council concerning the item before action is taken. There's one consent item listed on the posted agenda. Does any member of the council wish to have an item pulled?
No.
Does any member of the public wish to have an item pulled? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Motion and second.
Gorman.
Yes.
Heyman.
Aye.
Endicott.
Aye.
Blades.
Aye.
4 ayes, motion carries.
All right, moving on to discussion action item number 4. Appointment of a city council member to the Local Agency Formation Commission, or LAFCO.
Is this like a
So
rotating in
this is-
addition?
This is for an alternate? Oh, or did you want to?
Nope.
Oh,
Feel
sorry.
free.
So
Sorry.
I'm the full-time member, but we just need, our spot came up for an alternate. Solomon is not here, but he said maybe you could do it.
I like I appreciate Solomon doing that. Good man.
So if you want to push it back on him, he's not here, we can just, no.
It's tempting, but if neither one of you guys want to do it, I mean, Scott, you got the weight of the world on your shoulders, so maybe not. I'm gonna skip right over you, but if you don't want to, Mr. Gorman, then I'll volunteer.
I mean, really, you would be, I assume, filling my spot. I attend those regularly, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take your vitamin C.
Yeah. And luckily now so this came up, I was going to bring it up in the boards or other commissions, but I can do it here. This was a discussion action item or an informational item on LAFCO tonight. That's where I was before this. And so I let them know that we would have our decision tonight to let them know. So I nominate Councilman Blades for the position. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, and then do we vote?
Do we need a public comment on that?
Public,
ahead.
are there any?
Martin?
Yes,
Do we need a public
probably.
comment on the appointment for number 4?
For discussion action
Appointment of
item?
a.
Yes.
Okay.
Any members of the public wish to comment? Talk about how wonderful Councilman Blades will be in this alternate role. Anyone want to chastise him? I'm all for that. It makes good viewing from this seat.
I saw that, Sergeant Lloyd, I saw that.
Okay, seeing none, we can vote? Yeah, we have a motion and a second, so.
Gorman?
Aye.
Heyman?
Aye.
Endicott?
If I say no, it'll still pass, right?
Yes.
Okay, aye.
Blades?
Aye.
4 ayes, motion carries.
All right. Item number 5, discussion regarding the Board of the Indian Wells Valley Groundwater Authority regular meeting.
Okay, so we did not have a meeting last month, so I do not have a report out. I'll just make one comment in regards to one of the public comments earlier. When it comes to the mediation, it is ongoing, and as soon as we hear back anything from the mediation, we'll have a discussion at the GA, and we'll for sure be bringing it out, so.
Okay. Any public comments on item number 5?
Clarification, I heard they're having a town hall on the 30th of April, is that correct?
That's the planned date, yes.
So
Yeah, I highly recommend attending. It should be hopefully a very informational and question answer and clarification of a lot of.
So, hey, Scott, sorry to interrupt you.
So
but
for
nobody
those
could-
on the.
Yeah,
on
nobody
the
could hear what
video.
she said. so-
Yeah, the question was that there's going to be a town hall on the 30th,
30th of April.
and that's what Councilman Hayman's referring to.
Yep.
Lights green, do we have a caller? We do. Caller, go ahead if you're there.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, this is Mike Sinot. How's everybody?
Doing well. Yourself?
Good.
Good.
I wanted to introduce you to the presentation that was given by the Water District's General Manager, George Kroll, on Monday night. I posted it on roadrunner395.com and along with the live feed of this meeting. And it's regarding the Water Resource Development Act, which is the funding mechanism that the Groundwater Authority is relying on to fund $150 million of the $200 million price tag of the AVAC water pipeline. It's not likely that funding will actually happen, and I could read to you the bullet points, but historically, it it would be several years out and nowhere near the $150 million that's been requested. But the key point is that the project doesn't even have a chance of getting any funding. There's 400 other projects that are in the pipeline that have been authorized, and currently there's only about $200 million a year going out of this act in the grant process. So the bottom line is that the AVIC pipeline does not have a funding mechanism, and the Groundwater Authority and the attorneys have been telling you that they do, and they need to stop saying that. The AVIC imported water project is unnecessary, it's infeasible, and it's not fundable. And if you recall, the Water District hired a company that does cost analysis on water financing projects. And this will shock you, but the all-in cost of the water that's planned on being bought and imported and through this pipeline, without the WRDA funding, for 3,000 acre-feet of water per year, the all-in cost is over $10,000 per acre-foot. In addition, this company that estimated the project cost determined that it would be a $394 million project, not a $200 million project. So the Post has a photograph of, just for fun, photograph of Garlock Road, which has been torn up by runoff through Red Rock Canyon. And the engineering for this project, which has not yet been completed, will require that this portion of the pipeline, about along that section of Garlock Road, will have to be buried 15 feet underground. And recently, the attorney said that they can't provide the people a cost estimate on this project until they complete the engineering and design work. So they don't really have an estimate of how much it's going to cost. They're not completed with the design yet. They'll be at 100% supposedly by the end of the year. And they don't have the funding in place. They may have been approved for WRDA, but that doesn't mean anything.
5 seconds. Sorry.
How many seconds?
5 seconds, I'm sorry.
Okay. That's good enough.
Okay.
That's good enough. Thank you for your time.
Yep, thank you. Next time I'll get you at 30 seconds before. That was my bad. Okay, any other public comments? Seeing none, no one on the phones. All right, we'll move on to item number 6, Annual AB 481 Military Equipment Use Report 2025 and Renewal of Military Equipment Ordinance. Who are you looking for?
Where's Sergeant Wood?
Oh, he's on the phone out there.
Good enough.
Perfect timing.
There we go. He's coming in. He must have heard me. Huh.
Yep.
I'll get it started. As required by AB 41, we have to make an annual report each year to include a community meeting, give the community an opportunity to see what the state has designated as military equipment that we are using, may use in the future. At this time, we aren't adding anything new to our tools with regard to this area. Nothing has changed since last year. The only thing that changed last year was we asked for the approval of using drones in our operations. We've gotten those, so there's nothing new. I will hand this off now to Sergeant Lloyd, who's returned from a very important phone call, and he will knock out the rest. So real quick, what we're passing out are two of the things we use as de-escalation tools. We have beanbag shotguns that we talked about that are part of AB 481 and 40 millimeter launchers. These that we're passing around are the projectiles that are used out of those devices, just to give you an idea of what they are.
Are we able to ever see a demonstration of those, say, on a city manager?
Current or retired?
Was that a motion?
It depends on the day. Could be a two for the price of one, right?
Yeah.
So as Chief said, these are the rounds. These have been fired. While they're not hard, we call it still less than lethal. If you're close or the right circumstances, they can be, but statistically in numbers, they're not. I can personally tell you that in my time working here, we have saved at least 3 lives that I'm convinced that due to the subjects having edge weapons and access to guns that we would have probably used force, a deadly force against them. But with these 40 millimeter launchers, we were able to change their mind and get them to comply and essentially de-escalate the situation to take them into custody. As required by law, we prepared the report, the 481 report. We posted it onto the website and held the community meeting today and to the public. And now, we're here to give you a quick rundown of the report of what we've been doing. As you guys are aware, or maybe not, the quick military thing, California came out with AB 481 with military equipment. And some of it's kind of vague when you get into it. Well, what does it mean? And some of it is very clear. You weaponize a drone, and which the police department does not do. We do have drones, but we do not weaponize them. It also talks about unmanned vehicles, armored vehicles, which were Bearcat, that you guys have seen, that falls into that definition. The categories that the police department reports for the equipment is under UAVs, armored vehicles, command and control vehicles, specialized firearms and ammunition, diversionary devices and chemical agents, and kinetic energy weapons, which is your beanbags and 40 millimeters, which is the little show and tell piece we passed around. During the year of 25, the Bearcat was used 23 times, 8 for CRT operations, 3 for mutual aid, and 12 for community events. The CRT is the Kern Regional Critical Response Team that goes out. With the mutual aid is we respond to the Cal City and also to Hatchpee to help with subjects that had met the criteria with weapons, violence, to make sure that we safely dealt with that. Our drones, we had 24 deployments. 8 were in support of the CRU operations, 4 for patrol, and 12 for training. The LSDD, or the flashbangs as people know them, 12 were deployed, total for the year, 4 for operation and 8 during training for the team. Less lethal shotguns, we had 100 rounds used in training. That was last year. We converted our shotguns to beanbag shotguns, and so we had a little bit more training that was used to get the officers practice with them. I think 100 rounds, I'm sorry, with the 40 millimeter, it was 60 rounds also used in training. So the year officers at a minimally once a year, they'll do less lethal training at the range, and they'll use the 40 millimeter launchers and the beanbags. Also, when new officers come in, they're given a class on it. Firearms and ammunition. The AR-15 patrol rifle falls under the AB 481. This is rifles that the council purchased, well, we upgraded, if you will. We've always had them for a long time. These ones were purchased last year. They're each issued to each officer. They're trained under California post standards. 12,000 rounds of ammunition was purchased and used during training. We've had a few new officers last year, and those training classes, they spend a little bit more rounds for it. The command center, we call it. It's a 2007 Weekend Warrior. It's the fifth wheel. We've had it for a long time. You've probably seen it out there at checkpoints, critical incidents. That falls under the command post we have. Less lethal is the 40 millimeter, the 8 remaining shotguns. They can fire sponge rounds, rubber balls, chemical agents. Once again, the 100 rounds and then the 60 rounds of the 40 mil were used. Cost, approximately $6,000 worth of rifle ammo, $2,500 or $2,578.68. We bought a little bit more gas this year, getting the team up and running. We sent a guy to gas school. There's some new rounds that we purchased that are lessen the possibility of hot gas or fire, so their technology is making them bigger and better, or smaller, I should say, and better. And then the 2 drones, exterior drones, which are the bigger ones that we have, at almost $30,000. And then the upgrade I talked about, the 34 patrol rifles and a 1 precision rifle for $84,706 total. Moving into 26, city manager says that we have tons of money, not even a question, open checkbook. So we said, well, we'll slow down there, we'll take it easy. We're looking at approximately ammunition about $1,000 or $10,000 in ammo, $5,000 for beanbags, and $3,000 for 40 millimeter rounds. Chemical agents, we think about $2,500. And these are, the law says that we're to give you a heads up what we think we could spend up to. These are not what we're requesting at this time. I'm sure the chief will be bringing you budget numbers as we move forward if he hasn't already. Or maybe the open checkbook stands, who knows, we'll see. The beanbags are a little bit higher, as is a newer program. We're training still a little bit more with them, so we anticipate do it, and they're not as cheap as we'd like them. What has come to, after the thing, is the council is to renew the ordinance, authorize the continuous use of the military equipment, and any new equipment that we have at this time, we're not asking for anything that's not already outside of the scope that we have, other than to continue to purchase the ammunition to maintain training and proficiency and the chemical agents and stuff. Questions?
I have 2, but does anyone else have any questions? Okay, so for the beanbags, is there like an accuracy assessment that someone has to reach before they can fire rounds of beanbags at people?
An accuracy as far as that individual officer?
Like, do they have to, like...
Qualification.
Yeah, qualification.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes, so they have to take the training. They're taught on the terminology, the impacts, how far the standoff distance should be minimum, and then we practice with them, yes.
Okay.
So if they were not accurate, if they couldn't shoot it accurately, then yes, they wouldn't be qualified to carry said beanbag. When we start talking into a little bit, there's certain areas that you don't want to hit, you want to target for. So that's probably the biggest thing. Most officers, it's a regular shotgun, if you will, but it's been converted to shoot only the beanbag. So yes, they do have a proficiency test they have to pass.
So that, I guess, raises another question for me. Is there, just because it's this state and the laws are what they are, is there any, how can I phrase this? Is there any penalty for hitting someone with a beanbag in an area other than advised? Is there a penalty on the city for doing that?
There can be. It can come into different levels of, depending on why that person was hit. There's a lot of variance in that. It could be, whether that was an accident or unseen, the suspect was moving, all the way to, was it criminal? They intended to
malicious
and use that wrong. So then as almost anything comes, then you have your criminal side, and then you have your litigation that will come out of it.
Okay.
So there's always that part to it.
Yeah.
But on the same kind of that token, when these are used, usually almost every time, we're facing a situation that rises just not with it. You have a knife or a gun. And if you can't resolve that, you're going to still have those options of criminal or litigation that's there.
Okay.
Chief, did you have something you wanted to
Yeah,
answer?
at the end of the day, minus criminal negligence, there's no other penalty. People move. We don't intentionally target the sensitive areas, but there are situations in a dynamic, rapidly unfolding environment where a sensitive area could be struck.
Right.
So in the training, we're very specific. We have a painted target. We shoot for the areas that are acceptable. Like Sergeant Lloyd alluded to, in these situations, the alternative is sometimes to shoot somebody or use the beanbag to try to change their desire for full service.
I could just see the state criminalizing an agency for using.
Oh, for sure.
lethal force
But
and-
keep in mind that we actually deploy a beanbag rifle in every single patrol car. So it really is a great de-escalation tool, although that might seem counterintuitive, but we can de-escalate a situation where somebody has a knife with a beanbag because the escalation is the handgun.
Okay.
So it's very much a standard tool in modern policing,
Okay.
which is why we deploy them in every single car.
Gotcha.
And if I may just add one little thing, what it does is it allows us to have distance from the suspect versus a taser or pepper spray. It really gives us a standoff distance from them, which is good in most of these situations is what you want. Yes, sir.
The last question I have, and it's ignorance on my part, but do the chemical agents have a shelf life? Like, if we don't use all the ones that we have, carry over to the next year, which reduces the cost?
Yes, most of them do, and I'm just off the top of my head, I don't know about the newest ones, about 5 years shelf life. So we'll rotate them through.
Okay. Any other questions?
I don't have a question. I understand this is an annual report. What I wanted to say as a comment is that I appreciate that you guys are staying. What this shows, because the one question I asked every time around budget time is, are you training? That's the very first thing I say. Are you training? Do you have the money do you need? Because it's all cyclical, it's all circular. If we don't have a good PD, we don't have good quality of life, we don't have a safe community, people don't want to be here. It's all connected. And the police department's a huge linchpin in that. And what I'm seeing is you are going out and you're doing your training, and even though you are often undermanned and understaffed, so I appreciate you're still making that happen. Also, I will say, now that I've been on this council for a while, I've watched the PD increase their proficiency, increase their efforts, and so I appreciate that as well. And so that's what this report tells me. That's what I'm seeing and reading, and then so I appreciate you going out, you using the tools that you're given, using them how you think they should be used, and all of your, sorry, Chief, you have something?
Yeah, if I could add something?
Yep.
We appreciate that the council allows us to get these tools, whether it be via budget or simply your authorization. If you hadn't heard, there was an incident recently when our officers got shot at, and because of the training and tools that we've given them, although it sounds like a weird de-escalation tool, the training was a de-escalation tool because this guy shot at our officers through a door, and they didn't shoot back because they knew they didn't have to. They were able to retreat to the Bearcat and we were able to negotiate that guy to come out without him being harmed. That speaks to the training that you guys allow us to get and the equipment that you allow us to get. It gives us the ability to do those things that make a difference in our community.
Yep, I mean, so what we have on the agenda is renew, approve, and we're basically saying, yeah, we trust you guys to keep doing what you've been doing, which I think goes without saying. I just felt it important that I think if you're out in the community, you're looking at the council wondering, are you guys paying attention to how your PD is operating and what they are doing? And absolutely we are. I've been watching for years, and I've only seen the PD get better. Sergeant Lloyd, you're a big part of that. So thank
Thank you,
you
sir.
and your guys for being a part of the solution.
Appreciate the support, sir.
Yep.
I too would like to say you've done a fantastic job. As would everyone else, I'll do it for you guys, so that you know it's not just Councilman Blades.
I feel the love.
Who notices all the hard work you guys do.
Was there any questions from the public, or is
Any
this just
any
straight?
members of the public wish to comment or question? Seeing none, all right, so are there, given the previous slide, are there three things that were?
Yeah, I think a motion to approve staff's recommendation would be appropriate. The chief and I were just talking. I'm going to double check the actual ordinance that you're renewing, and I just don't remember whether it's self-renewing or whether we need to bring it to you actually and renew it. And if we do, we'll do it at the next meeting.
Okay.
But moving staff recommendation would be the proper
Okay.
item now.
Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to
for
approve.
Staff?
Second.
Motion and second.
Who seconded? Councilman Gorman?
Aye.
Councilman Hayman?
Aye.
Mayor Endicott?
Aye.
Councilman Blades?
Aye.
4 ayes, motion carries.
I've been, I was telling Mayor Endicott, I've been hit by one of those foam rounds, and they are not fun.
And if you've met Councilman Blades, you fully understand that someone might shoot one at him. So.
Yeah, it does, it checks out. It checks out, I understand.
All right, next we will move on to ordinance, item 8, proposed action to approve a resolution to amend the land use and military sustainability elements of the City of Ridgecrest General Plan, and second reading and motion to adopt by title only an ordinance of the City Council of Ridgecrest, California, an ordinance amending the zoning map, thereby adding priorities to the military influence area overlay district, and second reading and motion to adopt by title only an ordinance amending the municipal code regarding outdoor lighting in the military area overlay district. Because we couldn't fit any more words on there? Okay, all right.
You're doing great.
Oh, there's more? Slide number 2? Oh, come on. All right. Approval of a resolution of the City Council of the City of Ridgecrest, thereby amending the military sustainability and land use amendments of the general plan. Motion to waive reading in full and adopt by title only an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Ridgecrest, thereby adding section 106 Tech 40 and sections 106 Tech 350 through 106 Tech 354 to the Ridgecrest Municipal Code regarding the outdoor lighting, dark skies, and the military influence area overlay zone. Motion to waive reading in full and adopt by title only an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Ridgecrest, thereby amending the official zoning map to implement the military influence area overlay zone. I've never been more happy of working for the military that uses acronyms, but go ahead.
I'm just saying, what if we don't want to waive the reading in full, so you have to read the whole thing?
No, I get that. That's payback for the comment about the beanbag. I appreciate it. I'm looking at you two. Do not let me down on this. All right. Heather?
This is the second reading. This was brought to you a month ago. This was an update based on the ACU study that the Navy had published. That was published in 2011. We were able to secure grant funds so that we could hire a consultant to complete this project. So that is why it took us this long, because the general plan is a large document and an extensive document to update. So we are happy that we were able to secure those funds and get this updated to protect the community and also the installation's operations. So I'm going to be brief because I'm assuming that you've all heard it and it's past my bedtime. But so it updates the military sustainability element. That's just about noise and airspace. It updates the land use element, so that's going to restrict some development types in certain areas. And then finally is a code amendment that updates the zoning ordinance for the military area of influence. That's essentially the dark skies. Is there any questions?
Negative.
Are there any members of the public that have a comment? All right, seeing none on the phone either. So do we have motion to approve an approval of a resolution of the City Council of the City of Ridgecrest, thereby amending the military sustainability and land use elements of the general plan. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second.
Gorman?
Aye.
Hayman?
Aye.
Endicott?
Aye.
Blades?
Aye.
4 ayes, motion carries.
All right, next we have a motion to,
I would suggest that since you have read all of these in an opening.
we could just,
Move the second item, move the third
Okay.
item.
all right.
Martin.
Thank you.
Martin, you're
Thank
killing-
you. No.
you're killing me over
No, you're getting a nice Christmas present this year. All right. For the second item, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Gorman?
Aye.
Hayman?
Aye.
Endicott?
Aye.
Blades?
Aye.
4 ayes, motion carries.
And the third item, thank you, Martin. Do we have a motion? Can I motion? Motion to approve.
Second.
There we go.
You guys are confusing me.
Sorry.
Gorman?
Aye.
Hayman?
Aye.
Endicott?
Aye.
Blades?
Aye.
4 ayes, motion carries.
All right. Next, we will move on to committee reports.
Mayor, I'm sorry, before we move forward, I'd like to take the council back to the prior item, the military. There was a resolution, that's how you renew the ordinance. So I just want to confirm that through the motion and through your action, you adopted the resolution to renew the ordinance.
Okay.
So, Martin, it was a, if I remember correctly, the years prior, it's a filing of a report, right? That the chief has to file a report every year with the state?
Yes, the report needs to be filed and the resolution, and the ordinance needs to be renewed or updated each year.
Okay, fair. Thank you.
And that's what the resolution is in your packet. It's just, we were awkward in the way we asked for the motion.
Thank you.
All right, so we have committee reports. The Economic Development Committee will meet May 4th at 5:15 in City Hall Conference Room B. The Finance Committee met last night with myself and Councilman Hayman, and the report from that.
Okay, yes, thank you, Mayor. Finance Committee did meet. The discussion action items were the revenue update and the compensation study and the additional compensation for staff working on the 4th. We did review the revenue update. The city is sitting on par for this time of the year. There is no major changes in our budget and budgeted amounts. Compensation study, we reviewed. That will be coming back to you later in the future, or from the city manager. And that pretty much took care of the finance meeting. Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing too major to report.
Infrastructure meeting, the next meeting is on April 23rd at 5 p.m. in City Hall Conference Room B. Parks, Rec, and Quality of Life Committee met on April 7th.
Yes, so it was a good meeting. We had the senior center was, again, one of the agenda items, and we had a really sizable turnout of the seniors that showed up for that meeting. And I think mainly, I mean, they usually have a few items that, that they would like to see addressed, which we've been, and I should say Narissa and the staff have been very diligent about making sure their needs are met. And but it was mainly an appreciation of everything that has improved and that that Larissa and staff have provided the seniors. They genuinely were satisfied and very, very happy to have the senior center running the way it is. So my hat's off to the staff for making that a priority. We talked a little bit about Food Truck Fridays and Movie Night in April. I apologize, I did not write the dates down, so.
I remember it was Elio. This Friday?
Okay. And then Food Truck Fridays are ongoing? Okay. And then I think lastly, we discussed the shade structures for the softball fields and skate park. They're going out to bid, so that project is moving forward. And there was a brief discussion on the pool. Pool construction is full steam ahead with a projected, completion date of August of 27, so pretty exciting. So aside from that, I think that covered most of our meeting.
I want to highlight the seniors who continue to come out to that meeting. There's a lot of dust, I think, in the air, because as some of them talked, I got a little emotional as they were talking about the sense of community, and it was I don't know, it was touching, it was nice, it was nice to see how many of those individuals that attend the senior center have found that sense of community, that sense of family, from the actions of staff and Narissa, making sure that it's a priority that we make sure that our seniors are cared for. And so, yeah, that's all I really have to add.
I agree. It was, the seniors were very emotional about it too. I mean, it was, you could see that it means a lot to them. It is a place of.
And how much they love Bev.
And they love Bev.
Yeah.
That's a concurrence. So anyway, but yeah, it's good to see.
Yep.
So.
All right, we'll move on to other committees, boards, or commissions.
I haven't got much to report since last meeting. The roundtable, I call it the BLM roundtable, got together under George Kroll's chairmanship, and we discussed mostly that judge's ruling that's becoming firm soon, that takes a lot of our desert offline. There's a little donut hole called Randsburg that will be on limits, but getting there is off limits in a motorized vehicle. They feel they're really in a quandary. And the consensus around the table was, my goodness, we've got to figure out a way around this. I don't have much hope. I think things are moving inexorably in the direction of taking the desert tortoise area of the desert offline to motorized vehicles. And also that applies to the Green Mountain milk vetch, which is a weed. I think my wife just murdered 1,000 of them. No, I'm kidding. They're not even prevalent in this area. They considerably south, but it was a noisy and very concerned meeting. I think there's a KernCog meeting coming up tomorrow evening, and I've conned city engineer. There you go, 80 years old, and those names just won't come. Terry Roberts into filling in for me, and I thank you, Terry. That's it.
Did you have something?
Yeah, real quick. So the economic development did not meet, and I was not present, but we do have some updates that I think are worth mentioning. Heather, do you want to take those two updates?
So there's been a lot of talk about what's going in the former Arby's building. That will be The Works. That is a small business owner that has multiple locations. You might recognize it from Mojave. And we did approve a fuel center for the Walmart.
Thanks, Heather.
What?
Fuel center.
Fuel sensor.
Center.
Gasoline station.
Yep.
Gas station.
All right, and I had LAFCO before this. We annexed some land, and we talked about finances, and then the appointments that will be forthcoming. All right, next we have the city manager report.
Nothing to report tonight.
Okay. Nothing? I mean, we've only been here 2.5 hours or longer. These people, they seem like they're really into it. Nothing?
I'll hold for next meeting.
Okay, all right, just checking. All right, any future agenda items?
None.
Okay, we will move on to mayor and council comments. Councilman Gorman, do you want to have an uplifting ending to this?
Oh.
Other than
Uplifting.
There we go.
One of these days, I'm going to round up what it takes to make this community officially a dark skies community. This came up a little bit under the military overlays we're getting, and I'm glad to see it, but there are perhaps other ways that we can certify that we do, and we'll get a merit badge on our sash that says we're a dark skies community, and hopefully we won't see as many stars blinking out every year as they have been because of ambient light pollution from Los Angeles, Bakersfield, and Las Vegas. We're losing stars every year. Somebody doped out how many, but it's breathtaking. So I have some other ideas I'd like to take up with whoever it is decides what committees cover what subjects. I'm not quite competent to decide which committee, so I'll be asking some knowledgeable individual nearby which committee will handle this, and I'll stand before the committee and share with them my idea and let this thing percolate upwards.
Handle what?
It has to do with business license costs.
I guess that'd be finance, right?
I don't know, he was looking at Heather. I assume
Heather.
Heather
I mean,
has
it's us or the city manager that would decide what falls into what committee.
Quality of life, probably.
I mean, if it's business
we're dealing with
license.
dark skies.
Well, no, he's talking about business license costs. So business license costs to me would fall into finance.
Yeah, I jumped rails, forgive me. I wasn't prepared to be that specific, but yes, it generally has to do with business license costs.
Fair.
Councilman Heyman, any? Councilman Blades?
All good.
All right, so on this day in 1865, Abraham Lincoln succumbed to his wounds. 1912, the Titanic sank. For baseball fans, 1947, Jackie Robinson debuted for the Brooklyn Dodgers. That's why most MLB teams are wearing his number today. This past week, I got to go to a cybersecurity roundtable. It was very informative. It was nice to hear what the city is doing to protect ourselves. It's nice to see that there's federal involvement through all levels and that there are avenues to assist. They seemed open to ideas, suggestions. I left that meeting feeling more relieved than I was when I went to it, where I had questions, but those got answered. Lastly, I just want to point out that I've been mayor for, a year and 5 months now, and I've worn fantastic colored shoes every meeting. And how long ago did you shave your head, Travis? 2 weeks. So within 2 weeks, our Daily Independent individual has now decided to join that trend of shaving his head. Still see no one wearing fancy, bright colored shoes, but thank you, Aaron, for the vote of confidence.
Skechers starts selling brightly colored shoes.
I'm sure we can order them. All right, that's it. I just wanted to make a joke. City manager reads expense, like I've done 3 times so far tonight. So with that, thank you all for being here. Do I need to go longer? No, I'm good? Okay, all right. All right. With that, we will adjourn. Have a wonderful evening. Be safe, and we will see you next month.